Sorry if this is all a little bit slapdash at all. Trying to get it all filmed before everyone else in the house wakes up, because the kitchen's probably going to be quite high traffic today, so got to get it done. I'll put the ingredients and everything in my description, so that if you want to give it a go yourself, you can follow the instructions at your own pace rather than mine. That should be a bit more useful for you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. We're not quite doing food this time. I'm going to show you how I make beeswax lip balm. Because it's winter, it's freezing cold, and you need to look after your skin. But also, really good idea for Christmas gifts if you're sort of stuck for ideas for anybody. I'm actually doing a Christmas gift for someone in amongst my selection here. I tend to put my lip balms into little tins like that if they're for gifts, just because they look kind of nice. But for me, just reuse old lip balm tubes, fill them back up with the mixture once we've melted it. I've just discovered that one of these is missing the little, when you twist it and there's the thing inside that pushes it up, it's missing it. If you're keeping these and you're making lip balm with one of these and it's missing the little pushy bit, it's not going to work. You'll have to chuck it out. The recipe I have tells me that you need a tablespoon of grated or pelleted beeswax. I tend to put 2. I find if you only put 1, it's still usable. It's smoother and a bit more oily, but doesn't last for me. I've got quite sensitive lips, so I need pretty decent waxy stuff that's going to last quite a while. So I put 2 tablespoons of beeswax in my mix. A tablespoon of coconut oil. You need a little tiny drop of honey and 2 capsules of vitamin E. You don't have to use capsules. We've got a refill shop nearby that does it in a pump, so you can just fill up a bottle and drop it in that way. I haven't used up all my capsules yet though, so I've just got 2 of those. Stab a hole in them and squidge them into the pot. It's really simple, and you can sort of use the dregs of what's left of other lip balms to start off with. So in my little jug, I have got a tiny bit left from all of my old ones, and one that was a mix that wasn't very good. The beauty of making it yourself is if you make it and you don't like the way it's turned out, you can take it all back out, remelt it and add extra wax, extra oil, whatever it is you want in it to make it better for you, which is quite good. So whenever you're melting beeswax, you need to double boil it, and ideally in a well ventilated room. I would put the extractor fan on normally while I'm doing this, but you won't hear anything I'm saying if I do that. So I'm not today, but only melting a tiny little bit of wax, so I should be okay. It's quite flammable, so you do have to be quite careful. You have to double boil it, so Pyrex or a toughened glass jug, you put it into a saucepan of water and boil it that way. It's gentler and should stop your beeswax catching fire. And you can buy it online in pellet form. I get my beeswax in blocks like this, and so I just have to grate it. For that I've just got a really old grater that I got at a charity shop. It was like 50p. Anything you're going to use to work with beeswax is going to be ruined and can only be used for beeswax from that point onwards, because it does stick to everything and you can't wash it off. So I also have a really cheap spoon for mixing the stuff up on. And then of course I've also got a bit of kitchen paper on the chopping board. That's what it is, it's a chopping board. I've got a piece of kitchen paper on the chopping board just to mop up any spills as I'm pouring the mixture out. So it's really easy. So you pop your beeswax in the jug first, sort of half melt it, and then add your coconut oil and the honey. Mix that together until it's all completely melted. And once that's done, take it off the heat and add the vitamin E capsules and keep mixing it until it sort of blends in. I'm going to be adding a little bit extra to mine today. You don't have to do this with yours, you can just stick with the regular beeswax mixture. I'm going to use an old lipstick and tint it. I don't know if it's going to work, my colour, so why not have a tinted lip balm in that colour? So I saved myself some time, pre-grated some beeswax. It takes a really long time to grate beeswax, so if you're doing it, do a load in bulk and save yourself a bit of time for next time. This spoon isn't actually a tablespoon, but it's my beeswax spoon, so I am kind of eyeballing this one a tiny bit. Having made it before, I'm kind of aware of what it should look like. Needless to say, have it on a really gentle heat, gradually stir it as it's melting. Just be very, very delicate with it, just to be on the safe side. And of course, as you're using a glass jug, and that's going to be warming up, I normally just wear a marigold, so I can actually hold onto the jug while it's hot. I've got sensitive skin anyway, so I can't hold hot things as it is, so yeah, take every precaution is what I'm saying. It does take a little while to get going. It does just suddenly sort of melt out of nowhere. But it is pretty good stuff. It's worth the wait. I haven't had to make a batch of this since sometime last year. It's really, really good stuff. It's long lasting. Once everything does sort of get going, you can't really stop because you need it to be liquid to actually be able to pour it into all of your containers, obviously. But once you take it off the heat, it can solidify quite quickly. So I'll tell you now that once you've poured everything out, wipe out as much of the excess out of your jug and off your spoon as you possibly can while it's sort of wet, because like I said, you can't clean any of it, so that's the only option you have. It's getting there, so I'm going to add the coconut oil. And obviously the more of this you add, the sort of greasier it's going to be. Some people really like that. I don't, so I don't go too mad for coconut oil. Almost forgot I need to add the honey, so I'm going to do that now as well. Get my honey from the same place I get my beeswax. Shop local, folks. Doesn't particularly matter if it's crystallised either, because it's going to melt. That's good honey. So it's looking good, it's all melted. Before I add any colour to it, I'm going to fill up one of them, just because it's my mum and she probably won't want bright red lip balm. Or she might, I don't know. But... yeah. So you can see it's not a huge amount of stuff. A couple of impurities in there, but that's fine. I don't mind that at all. Obviously don't forget to put your vitamin E oil in. I nearly did. Definitely don't put the sort of gel, sugary coat of your vitamin E oil into the mix, because that won't melt, that won't do anything. You just want the oil from the inside. I'll tell you what, it smells divine. It always does. Just going to pop it back on the heat for a little bit while I'm mixing the oil in, because it is cooling quite quickly. Alright, that should do the trick. And then just carefully pour it into your container. Ooh. Got that nearly overflowed. It does tend to dip a little bit when it sets, so you will end up with a little bit of a concaveness to the top of your lip balm, but if it dips too much you can just top it up again if you've got any more left. So I'm going to pop that back into a low heat and I'm going to melt a little bit of the lipstick into it just to see if that's going to work really. I'm just going to cut very small bits into it instead. Don't really know how this is going to work or if I'm going to put too much or anything, so here goes. Well, it melts really quickly actually, that's pretty good. Wow. It's looking good. Sorry I can't show you much of what's going on. It's a relatively quick process, so I can't really keep moving the camera to and fro. I think that's probably already enough. I literally just took the top off the lipstick. It was pretty much a fresh one. I just took the pointed tip off. So I had just enough in there to fill 4 lip balm tubes and the tin. But I've still got a small jar and then a sort of novelty holder thing there, so I am going to make a bit more. It's perfectly fine, it's easy enough to do. I should probably make a plain mix, I think, so I'm going to give this a quick scoop out. So as I did add colour to that one, you obviously want to clean it as much as you possibly can. Just a bit of kitchen roll, scoop out all of the extra bits. It should be perfectly fine. It stays slightly greasy, but if you're literally just using this for cosmetic products that require beeswax, it's not too much of a problem really. So based on the fact that I don't have tons of things to fill up now, I'm going to half the mixture. So a tablespoon of beeswax, half a tablespoon of the coconut oil, 1 vitamin E capsule, still a drop of honey but like a tinier one. Turns out my little jars hold an awful lot more than I was expecting. I've only managed to fill it that far, so I am going to make some more. So you can see what I mean when I say it goes concave sometimes, sort of dips in the middle. Hasn't done it too badly, that's perfectly fine. Well, there you go. Probably be a bit weird the first time you use it because of that shape, but never had any trouble with it myself. That looks very satisfying. How perfectly smooth that is. And apple green and apple red. I should point out when you use tins like this, I've made the mistake before filling it up too high and forgetting there are hinges in there with holes and it poured out everywhere. Don't do that. Don't overfill your tins. Oh yeah, perfect. Brilliant. There we go. Now obviously you just have to work really quickly to clean up all the stuff and you're pretty much done, which is good. There we go, all done. Didn't take very long at all, and you've got yourself a whole set of lip balms that are going to last absolutely ages, especially ones in the jars because there's so much in there. Ones in the jars, I just use my fingernail to get it out and just rub it in with my fingers. It's a moisturiser, so it's good for your hands as well. I use it on cuts. I've quite often got little cuts on my hands and stuff. Sort of how I learned how to do this in the first place, because the beeswax is an antiseptic, so put it on the little cuts on your fingers and stuff and it works wonders. Just tried out the tinted one. It's not awful. I think I would actually put more in that next time. There is an ever so slight tint to it, so that's good. It's not too over the top. Hasn't affected the texture too much either. Not bad. More lipstick next time. So we're technically out of lockdown now, so I am going to stop filming for a little while. Might start again if I come up with any ideas of craft things that we can all share together. We shall see, but in the meantime I've got a lot of Christmas stuff to do, so gotta get making now, gotta get them presents sorted. Okay then, well, thank you for joining me again guys. If this all happens again, I shall start again. Look after each other, have a good Christmas, stay safe, bye bye.